Dog Guy Garage, and today we need to fire up the 65 Mustang Hack Job. So follow me along, let's see what we can get into. Alright, so guys, in this video we are going to fire up this 289. If you're new to the channel, I built this 289 on our budget engine build series, even though it wasn't a budget engine build. And there's a lot more of the build videos in this album and playlist that this video itself's in. If you're curious about the car's history, make sure you check out my playlist on my channel. So let me flip around, we'll get into what I've done in the background and what we need to do going from here. Alright guys, since our last video I come in here and made plug wires. I've got the plug wire looms on it. All this stuff is kind of temporary because we're going to have to pull this distributor out. We're going to have to put an oil pressure and water temperature gauge on this thing. We're going to have to prime the engine. I got to find a distributor hold down to put on it. Get it cleaned up and painted. We need to put oil, some water, and I've got one other thing. I've got the battery cables on here and tight. I've got his battery over here charging. Hopefully it's still good. That's kind of questionable. It's been over a year and it's dead. I have stuck some turn downs onto the header collectors for the tri-Y headers. We're going to bolt those on down there to direct exhaust away from the floor pan or anything that it can, you know, burn onto up under here. And I have went ahead, and since we put the Petronics distributor in it, I have got this kit here from Desert Classic Parts, and this is supposed to be a bolt-on thing for a classic Mustang, and this is a relay for the ignition that's supposed to help that Petronics last a little longer. This is the Kentucky Mustang part number. So if you haven't yet guys, make sure you check out KentuckyMustang.com. They were nice enough to send us a discount code. That'll be down in the description below. So let's get started. Well, the collectors and turn downs are on the car. I couldn't show you guys that because, you know, it's on the ground and I had to climb up under there and, you know, get up in there. But they're on there. So the next thing we need to do, let's see if we can get this ignition relay wired in. Then we'll move forward from there. You know, I've seen real high reviews of this. I've not opened it yet, but it seems like a good idea, guys. It's not going to hurt anything. It's going to make your ignition more powerful. So we got a relay and a little harness, some screws, and we got some instructions or some destructions depending on you know, what's going on. Well, we got some pictures. That's helpful. One thing I see I don't like already. It looks like it's got a part store quality ends crimped on it. Little solder and some heat shrink, guys, would go a long ways on making something look a lot nicer. And making the wires a little longer probably would have been helpful too. That way a man could hide this out of the way on a, you know, a show type car. Well, it seems pretty simple to install. So the yellow wire is going to go under your positive battery cable. The blue wire, there's going to be a nut under the I terminal on your solenoid. You're going to remove the solenoid nut. You're going to have to be careful with this, guys, because this terminal, this screw will come out. Like, you can push it in and damage your solenoid. So you're going to have to be careful there. And then this one is supposed to go on there. Under the nut. So you got to be careful there. But what I'm hoping is this thing don't stick out like a sore thumb like I think it's going to once we get it in there. So that's back tight, that's on there. And then we're going to have to find somewhere to mount a relay. Probably just tuck it up tight to the factory harness here to try to hide it. And it says to hook the red wire straight to the igniter on the distributor. Well, if you do that, you don't have no coil power. So it would make much more sense, I think, to hook this wire straight to the positive side of the coil. And there's plenty of wire to run across and do that, and run it down there with the alternator harness. But you might want to wrap this with some black tape or some black wire cover or something to kind of hide it. And if you got an electric choke wire, you can also tie it off this. This is a 30 amp relay, so it's going to be more than sufficient to power the ignition and the electric choke on your carburetor. So there's definitely could be some mild improvements to this. A lot of things I don't like about it, but it does look like it will get the job done. So let me see what I can do to make this thing look a little cleaner on the install, and we can go from there. Well, I got the ignition relay wired up, and I tucked it down right here. I discarded their self-tapper and put a nut and a bolt as negative cable falls. I put a nut and a bolt right there. I wrapped the blue wire with some electrical tape and put another nut on the end of that solenoid to hide that. The yellow wire blends in with the other yellow wire that comes off the solenoid. I wrapped everything that runs over to the engine side in black. I branched one side off to our electric choke and the other side to the hot side of the coil. As you can see, it don't stick out and looks like there's some kind of aftermarket wiring stuck up on here. The only place you can really tell is on the positive side of the coil, where we now have 2 wires instead of 1. So that's took care of. I went ahead and snugged the battery cables up. The ground wire is already on it. We need to prime the engine, put oil in it, put the battery in it, and fuel. I think I'll go ahead and put the fuel in it. I know all the fuel lines are connected. I went ahead and connected those up previously. I'm going to use some push lock -6 line. That way we get some good high quality line from the apron to the fuel pump, and then from our fuel line to the carburetor we got another piece of good quality fuel line. So let's put some fuel in it. So hopefully the gas tank don't leak. It didn't leak before, and I didn't take nothing apart there, but I did drain it out. So we got 6 gallons of 93 in this can. So hopefully that'll be enough to get us to where we're going. The only good thing about these race style cans, you can run them down that filler neck a pretty good ways. And you don't have to worry about no fuel splash or spillage along the way. So hopefully this all don't run out the floor somewhere, and we actually make some progress. And while we're putting detrimental fluids in this thing, like fuel, I'm just going to go ahead and put the oil in it. I'm still going to hook up the oil pressure gauge, but that's not going to affect putting oil in it. What I like to do, I like to use a break-in oil and run it for a little while, and then we'll change it. Even though this has got a roller camshaft in it, this does help seat piston rings and all that other stuff. So we're going to start this thing out with some 30 weight, which is the equivalent of a 1030. And classic Ford should hold 5 quarts, and that's what this jug is. This will have all the dinosaurs and minerals that we need for a successful engine startup. Alright, if anybody's wondering what I was doing in the time-lapse clip, I was putting this a temporary oil pressure gauge. I ordered a copper line kit. It will not be here today. I want to fire this engine off today. So I've got an extra gauge from right here at the shop, and a short piece of copper oil line ran down to the T down there where your factory sending unit would go. So we're ready to prime this engine now that we have oil in it. So what I'm going to do, 1/4 inch deep well socket. I'll tape it to a long 1/4 inch drive extension, taped to another 1/4 inch drive extension with a hex to 1/4 inch into my drill, such as so. The reason why I tape these joints is going to keep this from falling down in your engine. So what you want to do, guys, you want to do this within just a few minutes of you going to start this engine. Now, when I say a few minutes, I mean you can prime it. You just want to get the oil system full, the oil filter full, all your lifters and everything full. You can be 30 minutes to an hour, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and prime this one. And you're going to have to turn it counterclockwise, because if you turn it clockwise, it will blow it back out. You can hear it load the drill counterclockwise. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to bring it up here. And we already have oil pressure. I don't know if you can see the gauge there. I'll bring you guys a little closer. Now, this is going to be spinning this thing with a hand drill. So we got about 85 pounds oil pressure. So we shouldn't have no oil pressure issues with the engine itself. So I'm going to do that a few times just to make sure everything is pumped up and well lubricated. We'll be good to go. And once you get your engine primed, guys, you can go ahead, make sure your engine is on top dead center. I like to run mine out about 10 degrees. I'll drop my distributor back in. Make sure it is pointed at the number 1 terminal. And sometimes after priming this engine, you may have to hunt for your oil pump shaft a little bit, because they do have a tendency to turn. So what you can do, you can take a nut driver and turn the oil pump shaft, or you can just hold your distributor and bump your engine over, and the distributor will fall down in place with the oil pump shaft. And at this point, we're getting pretty close to firing this thing off. We got fuel, we got oil, we got the engine primed, we got the distributor cap on it, we got the ignition wired up, battery cables are on it. There's one thing left to do. We got to put a coolant temperature gauge in it. So that means I am going to have to drill a hole in the firewall somewhere. And then I am going to have to put a grommet in it. That is going to be the grand question. I want to do it where it's kind of not noticeable. And I'm probably going to do it under the brace area. And I have to go from there, I guess. Well, I got our coolant temperature gauge hooked up. This back here behind the distributor back here. I drilled a hole in the firewall right here and put a grommet in it. What I'll do when I get our oil pressure line, I'll take a little urethane and close that grommet the rest of the way up. And they should hide that under our cowl braces right here. So at this point, I think we're ready to put some coolant in this thing and make sure we don't have no leaks with that. There's several places coolant could leak. So let's put some water in it to start out, and then we'll drain it out later and put some antifreeze in it. So, alright, I got water in it, I got the battery stuck in it, and anytime, guys, a new build like this car is, everything in this car is new. wiring harness and all, you don't know. I will take this battery cable and approach gently and make sure I don't have no sparks. If you have sparks when you touch this hot cable, you are going to have a bad day. So what you want to see is exactly what I'm seeing right here, which is nothing. We have no sparks whatsoever. So that's promising. That at least means we don't have a dead short in our wiring harness. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the battery cable on it. It's loose. I'm going to leave it loose. In case something goes bad, I can reach down here and pull this cable off. And I can't stress how much, guys. Make sure you have no sparks when you put the cable on it. You don't want the car to burn down. Now, this is the first time I've had power on this car. This is the first time this car's had power on it since we started this build series. I replaced every single piece of wiring in this car with new reproduction stuff. I do not trust anything that is reproduction. But so far, so good. So let's travel to the inside of the car. We'll put a little power. We'll see if we got power in here at the ignition switch. And see if a few things work before we start trying to start this engine. Alright. So doors open. We don't have no horn. Oh, we got a horn. Probably just some horn contact things going on. So we got horn. Ah, it's possessed. So something's messed up in the horn contacts. Reproduction steering wheel, reproduction horn button. You're getting the drift, right? There's something messed up there. So let's take the horn ring off of it, and that should stop the horns from blowing. So battery cable back on, no horns blowing. Looks like we just need to source a new return spring. So that works. Let's pull out the lights. One thing I'm already noting is maybe we got a dash light in the wrong spot. But we have headlights. It's either that or we got a bulb out. So let's well, parking light. We definitely got a bulb out here. Is it a contact issue? Yes. It is a contact issue with the new wiring harness. So light. Headlight. So keys on. Turn signals on. Turn signal. Turn signal. Turn signal. Must have a ground issue over here. It's all stuff gonna have to work out, guys, right here. We don't have a turn signal back here. Contact issues. You just seen it flash. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna have contact issues. Had those same issues with my 66 and they're the same tail lights, so. Alright. That covers some of the basics. Do we have a radio? I wired the radio up. No radio and no blower motor. And what about yeah, we got a starter action. Starter works. Looks like our fuel gauge is working. So that's positive too. So now we just gotta get some fuel up to the carburetor. That will be the hard part. Now, we can surely crank on it all day long. We could pressurize the tank and push it up here. We could siphon some fuel up here. But if we get a good new fuel pump, this thing ought to start getting fuel up here pretty quickly. So let's try the spin it over method, and I'll let you guys watch the oil pressure gauge, and we'll go from there. Our other option is to spray something down in it. And see if we can get the hit. Well, it's going to want to run. It wants to run. Well, it wants to run. We got fuel now. They need to add a little more timing. Oh, we're getting closer. Closer. All right, now we heard this thing try to do something. Now the exciting things are going to happen. So we'll put a little bit more time in it. We'll open the throttle a little bit here, because I don't know where they've got it set at. I'm going to run my idle air in on my carburetor. I'm going to start it at 1, 2 turns out. That should get us a good baseline there. I'm going to come over here to this side. Turn this one all the way in. 1, 2 turns out. We got fuel. Let's see what happens. We're getting there. Give her a little more throttle. It's going to be cold natured. It runs. One thing it don't do, guys, is shut off on its own. It's something to do with this relay system here. When I put this wire back on the solenoid and start it up, we'll do that. I'll show you guys this. We can reach in here and turn the key. Wire's right off. Key out. Car shuts off. So, if you leave the solenoid there unplugged on the ignition terminal, the car will still start, and it turns off with the key. So, something's back feeding there. Probably not a big deal, probably not a huge issue at all. The other wiring problems are small in comparison. Like I said, first time this car's ever had power in it. First time this engine's ever been started. And we didn't lose a bunch of fluid. The car didn't catch on fire. And, you know, most everything works. So, I call that a win in this scenario. So, tomorrow, my oil pressure line will get here for the gauge. And I'm not going to be able to cover that stuff on this video because it's Thursday afternoon, guys. It's late already. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I just wanted to show you guys that this old pig will run. And we finally got it finished up enough where this car runs again. And that makes me happy. I'm sure it'll make the owner of the car happy, but it makes me happy. It sounds snotty. Sounds like it's going to run. May have overestimated or underestimated this engine just a touch by the way it revs. You know, big camshaft. It does have that big mother thumper in it. And no porting on heads, instead of flat top pistons. I mean, other than the valve train, the camshaft, it's really nothing special, guys. It's got a 1850 Holly on it. I mean, it revs like a darn race car. Usually, like I said, big camshaft, low compression motor, it's going to rev slow and it's going to sound mean, but it ain't going to do nothing. This thing zings up there pretty quickly, especially to be a new tight engine. So, yeah. I may build a little more motor than I anticipated for this car. But the good thing, we're all downhill from here. Well, like I said, it's all downhill from here. So tomorrow, we got to get our permanent oil gauge, pressure gauge in there wired up. Or not wired up, but darn, yeah, the oil line connected to it. And got to start some wiring diagnoses. Going to have to drain the water out of this thing, get some antifreeze in it. And get the shock tower support and export brace and all that stuff on this car. I've got some new shocks over there for it. We need to put them on. I need to get a return spring for the horn button. I guess I just didn't put a new one on there. Gotta get those gauges mounted to the bottom of the dash under there. And I picked these Summit gauges. That way everything looked nice and clean. And then from there, guys, all that stuff will be in our next video. And then from there, we gotta get this thing moved. And I will say this, I've done it in the background, but the clutch does work. It has very light effort. I think he's going to be very happy and it'll be drivable for him. It does move. I didn't move it far, just a few feet forward, a few feet back. We need to get it on the rack, get the bottom of the car painted, get some mirrors on this thing, a shifter boot, get this thing cut and buffed, an exhaust on it, and tie up all the little small loose ends, and hopefully we send this thing home before too long. I'm going to tell you guys this. We will have a party of some sorts when this car leaves my shop. It's been a long time coming, guys. I'm glad we're getting to a point where this thing is getting closer to being done. I know a lot of you won't understand why, but if you do this kind of work, you mess with mechanic work, you know how bad a car stuck in your shop for over a year hurts. So we're making headway. Like I said, we can only go up from here. So real happy. So if you haven't yet, guys, make sure you like this video. Check out our friends over at KentuckyMustang.com. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button because it does help the channel grow and helps me bring you more videos like this. If you are a subscriber, I greatly appreciate you guys. And I look forward to everybody's comments down below. Feel good about it now. So see you at the next video.